Hi Doris, so I'm just gonna go ahead and start your shadow reading. The deck that I'm using today is the Nicoletta. I don't even know how to pronounce her last name. Nicoletta. Yeah, I'm not gonna try. It's this one, and I like it because the imagery is very profound. It's very it kind of just sets the tone for the rest of the reading. So I normally start off with what you need to come to terms with mentally. Obviously I asked like a broader question, but what you need to work on mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So, I still have this in here. Let's see. I feel like this is going to be a great follow-up to your life view reading. Ooh. Okay. I got a couple things to say here. And I normally pair it with the Deviant Tarot, so I'm just going to go ahead and... Ooh, there's a lot more in here. I feel like there's issues with, like, controlling outcomes just because of what I'm seeing here. So I have the Moon. I have... What is this? The Ten of Cups reversed. The Monkey is the Hierophant. I have, what is the Knight of Cups reversed. And the Knight of Cups upright, I'm sorry. And then I have the Queen of Pentacles reversed. So what I'm getting from this, like in a mental aspect, I feel like sometimes you can, I don't want to say lie to yourself, but I feel like sometimes you could take it on, you let the illusion drag you. Like, you can become a product of your own imagination if you let yourself. You could think yourself into a bad mood. You can expect the worst, but it's just because you're thinking, and this is clarified by the Ten of Cups, by the way. It's because you're thinking yourself into this mood. I feel like you want the best, but you expect the worst, is what it's feeling like. I'm also feeling like maybe you can tend to be stuck on the conventional, like be stuck on one idea, and then it's harder to see everything else from a broader view just because you're stuck on one thing. Like, I'm feeling like you always may feel like, just as an example, by the way, but you could always feel like, since one person did me wrong, everyone else is now in turn gonna do me wrong. It feels like the rotten apple effect. Like, one thought starts to rot the rest of your thoughts, and it's kind of like, I feel like it's a self-preservation thing. I feel like it's very much you want to control your life, which is here by the Knight of Cups. You want to control that emotional outcome, that mental emotional outcome, but you do this not in a positive way. It's more of living towards like the downside of things, because I feel like if you can protect yourself mentally, emotionally, physically, if you can protect yourself, you'll be okay. I feel like you just prep yourself up for that failure sometimes, and especially when it comes to like ideas or things that you want to start. So I'm gonna pull Deviant out, see what it has to say. Oh. The Knight of Swords popped up over there, so yeah, that's how you lead your thoughts. Let's see. I'm telling you, some days I have more to say than others, but one more. Okay, let's see. I'm not stopping. I said one more, but let's see. Oh. There we go. I knew this still had something to say. Yeah, it's that fear of betrayal. Like, you have to let go of the idea that everyone is going to hurt you, and that's what I'm getting here. It's letting go of that idea. You have to let go of the idea that people are going to betray you. It's coming to terms with what you expect from people, like coming to terms that sometimes stuff is going to happen. Not gonna lie to you, stuff is gonna happen, but you have to make sure that you are so mentally solid that these things cannot get to you. I'm feeling like you have to work on your self-talk. You have to work on your on how you view outcomes, on your perspectives. I feel like I said, you can sometimes look towards the negative side more than the positive side. Now, this is, like I said, a very self-preservation thing. I'm also getting that along with self-preservation, it could also be a baggage thing. I feel like most of this has come from either relationships that you've been in, and it's kind of dragged onto now. And I feel like as you get older, it's kind of just, I don't want to say getting worse, but it's just not getting in check. So that's why sometimes you can tend to just let your thoughts get carried away. You let your thoughts get the best of you, and that can very much affect your mental state. Yeah, it can very much affect your mental state, and you can even sometimes kind of be living in like a panic, because you do expect the worst sometimes. And like I said, it's solely a preservation thing. It's not that bad things aren't gonna happen, but I feel like it's better, you personally feel like it's better to think of these outcomes that it's gonna be the worst that's gonna happen, just to protect yourself. So let me see what else I got here. I'm also getting that forgiving is huge for you. Like, you have to learn to forgive, because sometimes you can kind of internalize that. Okay. These cards just don't want to play with me today. Yeah, it's that mental compassion that you need to extend to yourself. It says, be compassionate with your thoughts, but also be rational in how you think. Gather all the data before you come up with a worst case scenario. Because sometimes your worst case scenarios can be based on no physical evidence. It feels like solely preservation. It's really getting to the root of, sorry, excuse the pun. It's really getting to the root of these issues, or what you feel. It's getting, sorry, I get tongue-tied easily. It's getting to the root of these issues and really coming down on them, because you internalize this. Like I said, I see a lot of mental, not clutter, but sometimes you can overblame yourself for things that probably were not in your control or were not caused by you. Because when I see this reversed, I'm seeing that sometimes these issues, these problems, it's not you per se, but you take it on as if it was you that caused these problems. And I feel like sometimes that can really like hurt your mental health. So you basically have to work on being nicer to yourself and making sure that you are taken care of before anyone else. And this feels very much like the life you're reading. It feels very much that you have to be, you're creating that stability for yourself, and it's gonna require you to really go in to yourself to recognize these issues, recognize the internalizing, recognize the self-blaming, recognize how much of other people's burdens you take on, and recognizing that guilt that comes along with moving on. Because I feel like, in a sense, you feel a loyalty to people that they don't feel to you, and that's where this card comes in too. Like, you could feel like you owe these people something and they don't feel like they owe you the same thing, and this is a very mental thing with you. I feel like it's like a I want to say it's like a paternal thing, maybe more related to your dad or the relationship you have with your dad, but it feels very family. Like, you feel like it feels like it's stemming from your family life. It feels like either they were never people to, like, there was no one for you to rely on when you were growing up, or you just felt like you were constantly being let down. So as you grew up, you had this like undying loyalty to other people, and that's exactly what it's feeling like. It's feeling like a loyalty that a misplaced loyalty, I want to call it. So let me go into the emotional. Sorry if that was a little like harsh for the first 9 minutes. the last, sorry, because I'm taking a look at the deck behind me because I feel like it's calling me. So when it does, here it is. This is going to be for your spirituality. I know I used the mermaid one for the last one, but this deck is calling me now. Okay, so let's see what you need to work on emotionally. Sorry, my hair. I have so much hair. Let's see. Ooh, letting go. See, I love this deck. The image is really, really pretty. But, you know, it gets the job done. Here we go. Showing you the image. Okay, so I'm just going to go through them one by one. We have the Nine of Swords. We have the King of Wands. The Six of Cups. The Two of Cups. And the King of Cups. So what I'm seeing is that... Sorry, I paused. I'm seeing that you really need to let go of the emotional baggage that's represented here. I feel like sometimes you can live in the past when it comes to your emotions, and that's here represented by the Six of Cups. You can tend to live in the past. You can, I want to say, what is it called? You can over-romanticize the past, like seeing it as better than it actually was, rather than coming to terms with the Nine of Swords. Rather than coming to terms with what it actually was. I feel like this is sort of to protect yourself. I feel like this is maybe like I feel very self-preservation. When I look at your spreads, I feel very self-preservation. I feel very, make sure that I'm okay and trying to find that mental, emotional balance represented by the Two of Cups here. But sometimes, you know, living in self-preservation doesn't allow you to fully feel, you know, the wonders of your emotions, or just fully process it and just getting over it. And that's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling like you tend to sink things deep in there, and then from one day to another you can, I don't want to call it explode, but you can kind of become over emotional due to this. I'm also feeling like this is like a very like a childhood related thing, just because of this card. I feel very like maybe this is childhood related. Maybe your parents didn't know how to relate to an over emotional child or a very sensitive child, because I'm feeling like you're very, very sensitive, even though sometimes you try to dig it in there. You do realize that you are affected by your environment, or maybe not you realize, but you are affected by your environment. And so it can be hard, it can be overwhelming. I feel very overwhelmed when I look at this spread, not because of the spread, but more I'm feeling overwhelmed because, you know, I'm feeling like that's how you feel. You can feel very emotionally overwhelmed by things. And some days you shut down and you kind of just don't acknowledge these emotions, and other days you kind of just all feel it at once. It feels like an all at once thing, like it comes in waves. That's exactly what I'm feeling. It's coming in waves. When I feel like how you are emotionally. Let me get a little clarification on this. Oh. I feel like some of these issues are easily worked on just because I have the Eight of Wands here. Oh. Let me see what fell down there. Oh, the universe wants me to work. Yeah, look. Self-preservation. The Hierophant reversed. And the Ace of Wands reversed, so lack of nurturing. That's how I see it. Like, maybe they didn't know how to nurture you emotionally, so it caused a very self-preservation. There's a lack of, like, you wish things could be different, maybe related more towards your childhood, that would have better equipped you to handle emotional situations now. I'm feeling like this path towards healing is going to be very unconventional for you, just because I see the Hierophant here reversed. So you might even look into, if you are going to look into, different forms of therapy that don't fit the everyday. yeah, different forms of therapy that don't fit the everyday. Maybe this is more like, I don't want to say it's counseling because it doesn't feel conventional. I don't know if you've ever heard regression therapy, but there's like other forms of unconventional therapy there that will set you on this path. And the only reason I'm saying that it's going to set you on this path is because the card at the end of at the bottom of the deck, plus it was the only one that was upside down, or I mean turned over, the Hierophant. So you're gonna be forced to come to terms with certain emotions. I feel like I said, it's coming in waves for you. So I feel like you have to just acknowledge it and kind of go with the tide so that you can really just release. I feel like that's what you need. Right now you're feeling like kind of like a water balloon, like you're ready to burst. And I feel like part of you, if you acknowledge it and just kind of work with yourself little by little every day to tell yourself how you feel rather than letting it get to you. I also feel like you don't have kids, do you? But I'm also feeling like maybe you can be busy sometimes and you kind of just set it off. You set it aside. Like you feel like maybe your work is more important, or you feel like your work is more important, or other your work. I'm sorry, I'm getting grandma. I don't know if your grandma passed. I'm sorry, but when I get grandparents, I don't know if you have a deceased grandma or somebody that's older that's deceased, but I'm getting somebody here that's deceased. So just so you know, maybe we'll talk about this later. But this is a very like older figure, by the way. So it could also be a great grandma. Somebody that you're close to. So when I'm getting this is that you have to make sure that you take things in steps and in strides rather than letting it overwhelm you. I'm feeling like little baby steps will make the most progress with you. And you kind of have to just make sure that you're working towards it. That's what I'm getting. I'm sorry, I got like kind of distracted. But making sure that you're working towards it. Even if it's just journaling, that will make the difference for you, because you're putting, I don't know why I grabbed these cards. You're putting it into a physical state. And when you put it into a physical state, it's easier to see and easier to acknowledge. So I'm getting that that's something that you might have to practice for yourself. Sorry, that when I get like something that's out of the reading, I get a little freaked out. But yeah, that's that for that. Now for your spirituality, I like to pull messages. By the way, this is the Sacred Destiny. It's a nice thick book. Let's see. What do we have for Doris's? Ooh. Spirituality. What does Doris need to work on spiritually? What does Doris... Ooh. This goes back to that peace of mind, that solitude, that self-solitude. Remember what I talked about, that you need to make sure that you're spending time with yourself, kind of just to acknowledging. You need to make sure that you're spending time with yourself to acknowledge those feelings, those thoughts that kind of come up over and over again. It's just, I feel like once you start acknowledging these things and that they're there, it's going to be a whole lot easier for you in the long term. And that's what standstill is doing. Protection, just knowing that you're protected and that you're being guided, that you're going to thrive. That life you're reading is like coming all up over here, but that you're going to thrive. And look, love, what did I say? That once you start moving in this path, you're going to find somebody that's going to be there for you, but you're going to be thriving before that even starts. Look at the pink moon, look at the giraffe. The giraffe has always been seen as wealth, as, you know, a status. So just making sure that you're taking care of yourself in that form or in that sense, it's gonna go huge with you in the long run. But I also feel like, let's see, I feel like there's something that I'm not getting yet. Let's see. So I asked, what do you need to work on spiritually? The Magician reversed, coming to terms with your gifts. The Knight of Wands, slow and steady. And the Two of Cups, the mental and emotional connection. So you probably have gifts of your own. Not even probably. I know you have gifts of your own. But maybe you haven't noticed them. I feel like once you get into that solid mental, emotional place that you need to be in, your gifts will just come by naturally. Yeah, because here's the slow and steady. Your gifts are going to come by naturally, but you have to really stabilize a relationship within yourself, mentally and emotionally, to know what's going on with you. Because if you're too over emotionally caught up, too mentally caught up, it's kind of hard to miss the symbol, not the symbols, but yeah, the symbols. It's kind of hard to miss the symbols, the synchronicities, and the signs of the universe, because you're just so caught up in your own things. I feel like you very much have gifts. I don't know if it's an intuitive of knowing or if this is more dream related, but you definitely have gifts of your own that you haven't tapped into. There's untapped talent here. The Magician tells me that. You have untapped spiritual talent that maybe, you know, maybe you need to bring that out to help you more to recognize yourself. Maybe some sort of divination, whether it's tarot cards, whether it's just learning the signs and symbols of the universe. It's just going to give you a more sense of fulfillment, a better sense of self, kind of a more connection to the universe that you're really looking for. I feel like this is just going to be like the cherry on top for the wrap up of the year. Please, like, when the year is over, come back and like rewatch this video so we can talk about it. But yeah, I'm feeling very much like it's going to be the wrap up of your year. Like, this is just going to be like another layer of yourself that you're discovering. I feel like there's still so much about yourself that you're going to learn within the next year. But it has to start at a standstill. It has to start at you going into yourself, you learning that internal depth. I feel like there's a lot of depth with you. Like, there's a lot of depth with you, but you have to recognize it within yourself. And I feel like part of the reason that you're so emotionally conflicted is because you know that there's more to you than what you've already seen. There's a deeper perspective to you, but you have to acknowledge that. And, you know, I feel like this is all gonna tie in together. So yeah, sorry I like rambled on forever. But if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me through email or through Twitter. But also, I want to know who this figure that I'm getting here. Is it for me or is it for you? Because I'm feeling like an older, it's either grandparent. It's a grandparent. So either grandma or grandpa. But I'm feeling a grandparent here. So just let me know who I'm feeling here. Thank you so much, Doris. Bye.